From the land of sky blue waters,
Waters.
from the land of pines, lofty balsams, from the beer refreshing.
Pour in ice-cold Hams and treat yourself to the premium beer from the land of sky blue waters. Great-tasting Hams.
Hams, the beer refreshing. Hams, the beer refreshing. Hams.
No. We now have scientific proof that the longest anyone can wait while having a pizza emergency is 3 minutes.
Pizza! Godfather's Pizza!
New hot slice from Godfather's Pizza in just 3 minutes, or your next one's free.
Oh, Godfather's Pizza!
New hot slice in 3 minutes, or your next one's free. What are you waiting for?
Behind this rugged game of football, there's a lot of sophisticated communications. For the teams, the stadiums, and you. I'm Dick Enberg. You know, GTE supplies communications like these for Texas Stadium, the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, Tampa Stadium, and the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. For your quality communications, talk to the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 21. Talk to GTE.
Meet the Sonics during the special movie Breakheart Pass, 4:30 today.
Just how good is Buddy Ryan's defense? Well, last week he held Eric Dickerson to 58 yards rushing total. This afternoon, Dickerson has 123 yards already for the Los Angeles Rams. Same number of carries. On the sideline, Jim Everett is in uniform, but he is not yet playing. It is up to Steve Dills. And here is the great one, Eric Dickerson on his way, 40 yards, breaks free there at the 10, goes on in for the touchdown. And Lehman Bennett can only hope, Dick, that Steve Young can get him back in this game.
Well, he has the mobility. When he can't find the receiver open down there, he's going to take it and stick it in the corner of the end zone.
And the Buccaneers are hanging tight. Now, the Buffalo-New York Jet game. O'Brien, 4 yards to Tune, and then Kelly comes back, and he goes to Bell, 40 yards for the tire in that one. Indianapolis and San Francisco are a shocker. The Colts score a couple of touchdowns in one game for the first time this year, tied with the Niners at 14 all. And, of course, Denver, all over Dallas. I'll tell you, this is the first time all year that I've heard a crowd in the NFL that sounded like a revved-up college crowd. Irv Cross, it's got to be hard to be heard out there.
You know, Brent, one of the problems the Cowboys was concerned about coming in here was crowd noise. Now, down the close into the stadium where Pallur was caught for his safety, he had some difficulty getting his signals, and his offensive line couldn't hear it. You'll see him in the spread formation, standing there with his hands cupped, yelling like crazy for his offensive line to hear. They don't quite get off on time, and he's trapped back there for the safety. Now, the Cowboys came into this game anticipating the crowd noise problem, and they had planned to have, from the spread formation, to have Tom Rafferty, the center, call the signals. They might make that adjustment in the third quarter. On the injury side, of course, Randy Wright had the hamstring pull, had an ice pack on it the entire second quarter. We don't know if he's going to come back or not in the third quarter, Brent. Let's go to Pat and John.
Okay, Irv, thank you. You look at the first half that John Elway had, and although the Denver defense has been very, very impressive and very thorough, Elway still, I think, is a story.
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't know that you can blame the defense. I mean, Elway made some great plays, some plays that there's nothing you can do about on defense. I mean, he comes back, he stops, he looks, he can't find anything, runs out to the right, heaves the ball 50 yards, and I think the problem for the Cowboys was just too much Elway in that first half.
Let's look at some of those plays and look at this great ability that this guy's got.
Well, this is the one we're talking about here, where he starts in there, can't find anything, sits there, decides he'll run out to the right, and as you said, just threw it off 1 foot, throws that ball 50 yards in the air.
And this one.
Well, of course, this is the one to Will Height. No, it isn't the one to Will. Yeah, it's the one to Will Height on the left, because he threw two to Will Height. One to the left, and then just before half, he drilled that one in there on the right side to Will Height.
It doesn't look like, getting back to that Denver defense, John, it doesn't look like the Cowboys blocking scheme, whatever it is, has any idea how to contain them.
Well, the one thing that they haven't been successful on first down. In fact, on first down, they've averaged -1 per carry. So they have a new quarterback playing, and they're always in that situation where they're 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and that's tough.
And they've been pretty well able to control Herschel Walker also. So we still have another half of football coming. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
We're MCI. We can go one-on-one with anyone in the communications business, no matter how big they are. MCI competes with a full range of data communication services for reliable transmission around the corner or around the world. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
Liberty shines brightly. A valued possession Americans will cherish forever. You can treasure liberty the American way with United States Liberty coins. Historic keepsakes minted by the Treasury. U.S. Liberty coins. Singly or in sets at banks, savings and loans, and most Sears stores. The American way to treasure liberty.
Don't be caught fresh out. Stock up on Mountain Fresh Rainier now.
Now you can cover and uncover your pickup truck bed instantly. Safety Cover is a retractable truck bed cover that's as easy to use as a window shade. Safety Cover protects cargo from theft by keeping it out of sight, and it blocks out sun, dirt, and moisture. There's a size for every pickup, and you can even use it with racks or shells. Saves gas by reducing wind resistance. It's on or gone in seconds. Super tough Safety Cover.
For your Safety Cover, call 392-1946. That's 392-1946.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile Quality. Feel it at your nearest Oldsmobile dealer. The U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by the makers of Prestone 2 Anti-Freeze. Don't push your luck, change it with fresh Prestone.
Denver in the background, Mile High Stadium in the foreground. It is packed as usual, 120 consecutive sellouts they've had during regular season, and one of the reasons they come here with such regularity is players like Carl Mecklenburg. He has done everything.
Well, you know, they understand defense here in Denver, and here's Mecklenburg. Watch him. He lines up over the tight end. He lines up everywhere, up and down the line of scrimmage. Watch him. He plays Cosby to the inside. Here comes Richard, takes him on, stuffs that block, stuffs Walker all at the line. I mean, he takes on 2 guys and makes a tackle in the backfield. But look where he's been lining up all day. There's 5 positions. You got the 2 tackles, 2 guards, center, and the tight end. He's lined up 5 times over the right guard, over the right tackle, 3 over the right guard, 5 times over the center, once over the left guard, 10 times over the left tackle, and 6 times over the tight end. That's playing a piano.
Well, we were talking about, you know, before about what the Raiders do with Howie Long, what the Giants do with Lawrence Taylor. In some situations, what the Bears do with Richard Dent. It seems to be something that they'd like to give the offensive blockers a different look on every series. There used to be a time that coaches didn't think you could do that.
Well, you know, when you get a special player that can play linebacker, can play line, and has those abilities where right and left and that type of thing doesn't bother him, then you just go ahead and do it. We did a little of that with Ted Hendricks. In fact, he reminds me somewhat of Ted Hendricks.
Harless kick goes to Robert Levitt. He lets it bounce on the in line and downs it in the end zone. And the Cowboys will operate from their own 20-yard line. Steve Pallure started at quarterback, and he's still going to be in that situation. And it was a frightening situation for him in the first half.
You know, I'm sure one of the things they talked about is what they're going to do on first down. Because, as I said, they average -1 yards on first down. Now that gives you a hole to climb out of on 2nd and 3rd down.
So the Cowboys, from their own 20-yard line, their average yards on 1st down, -1. You don't win many like that. He's going to throw on 1st down again if he has a chance for Banks. Incomplete and no interference call. Lewis Wright back on the coverage. Oh, what a good back he is.
Well, of course, they came on a blitz that time. The Broncos did. They figured out that they were going to get him. They were going to make him throw from a prone position. But again, Louis Wright is one of the tough guys. He's been in the league 12 years, been a corner for all that time, but he still doesn't give you much, if anything.
He never has.
I remember that was one guy we played the Broncos. I would never mess with Louis Wright.
Denver showing blitz again. Allure. Banks out of bounds. Louis Wright on the coverage. That's a Dallas 1st down. A gain of 12.
Well, of course, they came right back and they messed with Louis Wright. They said, if we can't get it deep on him, let's see if we can get an out in front of him.
I don't think they're going to tire him out. Dan Reeves was saying this mile-high city, of course, takes some time adjusting to the difference in altitude. He said he thinks it takes at least 6 weeks.
Well, it took he himself 6 weeks. He said he tried to play handball the first week he got here and darn near died.
Newsom by Rulon Jones. He gets out of his grasp, and maybe he got a couple before Greg Cragen took him down.
You know what I've always thought about these Bronco fans, and I said it, is that, you know, they had that orange crush. They had the defense thing going for years. They have Joe Collier, who's the defensive coordinator here, probably the best or the top guy in the NFL, and they really understand and appreciate defense. They understand, you know, what it is when you blitz and you get long yardage and what you do on 1st down. They understand all those things.
2nd and 7. Here they come. Pallure throws it up for grabs. He had to. Mecklenburg was there. And there were 2 or 3 others breathing down Pallure's throat as he turned around.
I don't know that that's breathing down. That's kind of hanging on his neck. Watch 77, right up the middle. Mecklenburg's coming up there. Pallure play fake. When he got turned around, there he was staring at a 2-7.
The play fake didn't take.
No, and then how's that? You come out and you see this guy looking you right in your face when you come out of your play fake.
Ken Woodard was back there also. That'll make it 3rd down, 7. Cosby is lined up inside Banks this time to the right. Tony Hill left. That's Banks in motion. Over the head of Banks. Couldn't come out of his break. Mike Harden was the defender.
Well, they brought the safety on that one. There's Coach Dan Reeves there. He has 2 friends with him. There's Leroy Jordan, who, of course, was a middle linebacker. You say, now, what side is he on? Played for the Cowboys, played for Tom Landry, played with Dan Reeves. Probably on the Cowboy side, right? Wrong.
He was on the Denver side. Saxon back to punt. They don't try to block it. Saxon gets off a good kick. Will Height retreats to the 14. Will Height gets out to about the 27, and down goes the flag as Steve Diassi tripped him up. 51-yard punt by Saxon, a 14-yard return. Will Height, left shoulder, left arm, looks like. Might be a little numb.
You know, earlier, remember on the first play of the game, he went down and there was something wrong with his fingers at that time. I think there he just got hit on that bone. You know that bone when you get hit and it goes down your arm and numbs your arm and you get the tingling? The funny bone or the crazy bone or whatever that bone is.
Illegal block, number 22, on the run back. 1st down, timeout.
Tony Lilly was the offender. Denver in control. Opening seconds of quarter number 3. They lead Dallas 22-0.
Oldsmobile quality.
You know, the weirdest things happened to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steaks, got my ribs. Then when I asked the stock boy where the Coors Light is stacked, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it was like deja vu. Whoa, it was like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
You might be able to make it on your old antifreeze another year, but then again, you just might find yourself left out in the cold. Driving just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So, for maximum protection, don't push your luck. Change it once a year, every year, with fresh Prestone.
Denver coach Dan Reeves, we're on the sideline. And he's got that famous chart. That's something that he learned from Landry, those situations.
Well, you see how they have it broken down. It's first down, then they have 2nd and 6+, second and less, and 2. Then they have 3rd down and short yardage goal line. They have every situation broken down and the plays they want to use in order.
Playing in the backfield with Winder. That's Winder. He's hit by Hegman. And I don't think he got anything. They'll bring up the 2nd down. I'll bring you up to date while we have a moment on the injury situation. Randy White has a pulled hamstring and he is out. Clarence Kay of Denver is in the game now. He has bruised ribs. He'll play. Is playing. And Dennis Smith of Denver, the safety man, has a groin pull and he is out.
I'll tell you, the one that has to hurt the most is Randy White being out to the Cowboys, because we talked about how they already have 2 of their defensive linemen on injured reserve, and then to lose a player of his caliber.
Sewell by Downs and Jones. Nothing doing there. Everson Walls over to help out.
You know, one of the things that Dan Reeves was saying, that you got to get these safeties blocked. He said Michael Downs is a weak safety, and he always has the weak side inside, and then Bill Bates is a strong safety. And he says you just can't let those guys go unblocked in your running game. Most offensive teams don't count the safeties in their blocking thing, but the Broncos are today against these guys.
3rd and 11. Dallas going with a 3-man rush this time. Elway with all kinds of time. Almost picked off. Ron Fellows was one of the Cowboy defenders. The other is Victor Scott. They almost had a big interception.
And they're both down. That's Fellows, and Scott is in front of him. I think Scott hit a finger. I think got a finger or a hand jammed on that thing, either on the ball or on his own guy. But he dislocated a finger. Watch him. There's Fellows. Now watch 22 Scott will come into the picture right there. You see, and it looked like the ball, or maybe it was Fellows' shoulder pad that he caught the finger in. That's reacting to the ball.
Either one of them had an interception.
Had the other one not been there. But you don't know that. You can't look for your guy.
Fellows walking off. Scott is still down.
You know, that's what happened to Bill Bates. Bill Bates got that finger of his. In fact, he had to have surgery on it. They have 4 pins in his finger.
It's a horrible looking thing.
Oh, it sure is. But he jammed it in a shoulder pad. Dislocated, and you can see that's his right finger. It's the ring finger on Bates. But he said he was coming on a blitz, and he got his finger caught up in the shoulder pads of the quarterback.
Phil Simms.
And they put 4 screws in that right finger.
Denver 22, Dallas nothing. Don't forget college football coming up here on CBS. Michigan State against Michigan. Most of you in the country will see that. Or Arizona against UCLA. Michigan is ranked number 4. It's all live at 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday here on CBS. Here goes Victor Scott.
And it is his hand. You see how he's holding his hand out there in front of him. They're going to take him right to the locker room.
Wheel standing back in the end zone to punt. Good kick. Lovett retreats to the 36. Is hit at the 25 by Daniel Hunter. He used the first man there. And the Cowboys will come on. X-rays for Victor Scott. That's why he's gone inside. That's why he's going inside. 51-yard punt, 5-yard return.
Light fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Hey, Gal.
What?
The elevator's here.
Find your future in the Army.
I like to go first class, so I appreciate Oldsmobile quality. That's a sporty Delta 88 Coupe. But with the foursome of my own, the Zeller car
Come on, kids.
is a Delta 88 sedan. Sporty enough for me.
But roomy enough for all of us.
Olds calls Delta 88 the family car that didn't forget the family.
And Fuzzy's family agrees.
Oldsmobile quality. Feel it.
We're here live with Arby's World Series winners game. How about a prediction on the outcome, Phil?
Well, Bert, that's easy. With $15 million in prizes, everybody's a winner here at Arby's. They're winning Arby's food, thousands in cash, Chevy Novas, even a Corvette convertible.
Come to Arby's today for your World Series winners game card and win food, cash, and cars.
I won!
Phil?
I won!
Oh, Phil?
Arby's World Series winners game. Everyone's a winner.
The Michigan Wolverines, a team of explosive dimensions. But can they control the one-man explosion of Heisman hopeful Lorenzo White next Saturday on CBS Sports?
There is Victor Scott going in for X-rays. They are X-raying his right wrist.
You know, the interesting thing there, that's not the Cowboy locker room he's going in. That's the Bronco locker room. It's a Bronco side, so I'm sure that's where the X-ray machine is.
Rod Fellows twisted his knee and ankle, so they're checking him too at the moment. Running out of folks. First down, Dallas at their own 40-yard line. They trail 22-0. Valor back to Walker. Walker, maybe a yard, and hurled backwards. Defense led by Jackson and Rulon Jones. Today's attendance at Mile High Stadium, 76,082. A new Mile High Stadium record. There were only 46 no-shows. And they usually boo the no-shows, even though they're not here.
I'm sure they will, but the reason that there's more people in here is they got some new luxury boxes, and they were sold out for the first time.
Second down and 9. Walker only got a yard. To unload, and a penalty flag is down. Valor has been unloaded a punt.
I'll tell you, the guy that's really causing a lot of trouble is that guy right there, 48, Randy Robbins. He's taken Dennis Smith's place, and he's been up there and blitzing and coming from the outside and over the tight end.
Offense, second down.
Hey, he's been a force in there today, Robbins has. You know, that's the type of thing when you have a championship caliber team. A guy can go down, and you can bring in a guy, and he can play just as well.
Here comes Victor Scott back out after the X-rays, keeping that arm elevated. And now it's wrapped. Second and 14. Cowboys back now at their own 36. Unable to generate anything. Newsom juggles, and Newsom will have a Dallas first down in Denver territory for the first time in a long time. Steve Wilson knocked him out of bounds, and Newsom got 30 yards.
I'll tell you, Newsom was open all the way. That was Ken Woodard. A linebacker was on him, chased him from the start. Now watch him. He's right here in the left of the screen. He's going to come right up the middle. See 30? Now watch 52 starts chasing him here. He's behind him all the way. And then he bobbles the ball, gets it up. Woodard still chasing, chasing, and finally gets here. Yeah.
Dallas first down at the Denver 39. 10.5 minutes left to play third quarter with Denver leading 22-0. Walker's the lone setback. They give to Walker. Inside the 30 to about the 28 before Mike Harden tripped him up. A gain of 6. We're at Mile High Stadium in Denver. We're looking at a record crowd, over 76,000. Pat Summerall and John Madden. Head coach Dan Reeves yelling encouragement. And the Broncos lead it 22-0. We're in the third quarter with just over 10 minutes left to play. Sherrard split out wide to the right. Tony Hill to the left. 2nd and 4s. Cosby comes in motion. Walker trying to get to the outside. Will get only a yard or two. Steve Foley cut him down after a gain of 1.
You know, that's one thing that the Cowboys really haven't been able to establish Herschel Walker today. We just see there 11 times 34 yards. Now, whether the Cowboys haven't used him enough or aren't using him right, I don't know that that's not academic. I think it's just that the Broncos have been playing him very well. They haven't given him anything. They've kind of suffocated Herschel Walker today.
They have done just exactly what they said they wanted to do. 3rd and 2. Ball's at the 27. Walker's in motion this time. Malure goes back to throw, kicks it out to Walker. Looks like it's enough for a first down. It's very close. Randy Robbins was out there with him.
I think that was the thing that impressed the Cowboys so much when they got Herschel Walker, is what a good receiver he was. And they figure they can put him anywhere and run him on pass patterns, and he can catch the ball as well as any receiver they got in the team.
And he knows how to get open. They were also surprised to know that he can block and will block.
But the thing that always, you know, talking about surprise this and surprise that, is how big the guy is and how fast he takes that load with him. I mean, you know, to run fast is one thing, but to be that big and that fast.
But again, the Broncos have done an excellent job defending against him today. Cosby, the move man again. Fedor back to throw. That's Mike Sherrard, and they finally do get him down. Ricky Hundley does the job finally. Number 98. Not a first down. About a yard shy.
I think this is one of the guys that once he learns this Cowboy offense, I'm talking about Mike Sherrard here, he's going to be a big part of it. He's going to be that speed on the outside that they're looking for. He's going to be that big play receiver. He held out for most of training camp, so he really doesn't know the offense the way they want him to. But when he gets it, he's going to be a big part of this Cowboy offense.
To correct what I said, it is a first down. That last lunge got it. There's the Denver 14. The give is to Newsom, and Newsom hammers down inside the 10. Ricky Hundley finally made the stop, but a gain of 7. There is Victor Scott, and the word is he has a fractured wrist. That was a play that was just unfortunate because both he and Fellows had a chance, a shot at an interception, and they collided with each other.
I'll tell you, that's one good thing about the stadium. So the fact that they do have these x-rays there, and they can have an injury like this, take them right in, get it x-rayed, and they know what it is, so he doesn't stay in there and continue playing with it.
Ballard to Banks, pushed out of bounds inside the 5. Randy Robbins. Close to a first down. 5, and it is a first down. They might conceivably measure, but it looks like he has it.
You know, one thing, excuse me.
I was just going to say they were here once before. Here's Brian Baldinger coming in as, I'm sure, an extra tight end.
You know, and talking about tight ends, Doug Cosby right here hasn't caught a ball yet today. And this is where they've always liked to use their tight end, is down in this area. Of course, they'd like to use them in other areas too, but they haven't been doing it today.
First and goal from the 3 with 7.5 minutes left to play third quarter. They'll go with 3 tight ends. One of them's in motion. Now he comes back. Now they give to Walker. And Walker gets in. From 3 yards out, Herschel Walker scores.
Watch Doug Cosby here. He's going to come in motion, then he's going to stop, then he's going to come back and try and find a place to lead Walker through. By the time he finds a place, Walker's there. He just throws his body sideways. That was just enough movement to get Walker into the end zone. That's not bad. I don't know what you call that technique.
I don't either.
You know, that's kind of the old, remember in high school, the old side body block or something?
Get in the way, it looked like.
6'6" frame across the hole.
Fuller is holding. Septien's extra point is good. Cowboys, after a struggle, get on the scoreboard. And it's Denver 22, Dallas 7 with 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Who has transformed video cameras, making them more compact, simpler, more colorful, more fun? Who? RCA, with the new Pro Wonder camcorder, the camera and recorder that uses standard VHS cassettes plus solid-state technology for brighter, more colorful memories. Pro Wonder. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
You know, the weirdest things happen to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steaks, got my ribs. Then when I ask the stock boy where the Coors Light is stacked, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it was like deja vu. Whoa, it was like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
Watch this. I talk, and my words appear on the screen. This is an experimental IBM computer system. It recognizes thousands of words, even words that sound the same. Please write to Mrs. Wright right now. Another innovation from IBM and the most advanced voice recognition system of its kind, period.
The firepower of Washington's Jay Schrader. The horsepower of Dallas's Herschel Walker. It all starts with the NFL Today next Sunday on CBS Sports.
22-7 with 7.5 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Raphael Septien set to kick off. In the direction of Ken Bell and Gene Lang. Lang is 33, Bell is 35. There's Bill Bates, who is the Cowboy strong safety, but also excels on special teams. Next to him is the free safety, Michael Downs. Septien's kick will be handled by Lang at the 3. And Bates makes the tackle on the kickoff, and a penalty flag is immediately thrown. 22-yard return.
You know, Bill Bates has been one of the best special team guys in the league. I mean, some guys, they're not the fastest guys in the world. They just have a feeling of how to get down there, avoid a block, and make a tackle.
Illegal block, number 85. On the return, first down.
Joey Hackett is 85.
You know, and this whole thing coming down here, I've always felt it's about 10% ability and 90% desire. Some guys just have a little more interest in getting there than others. And Bates has always been a guy who has more than anyone.
Of course, he's playing with a broken finger that's got 4 pins in it. And it's not the most handsome thing you'd ever seen.
Well, the pins are starting to come out, he said.
That's Winder over the right side. That's the protection that he wears over the finger and the pins, and then on top of that is more protection. Gain of 3 by Winder.
I asked Tom Landry last night if that thing, you know, in that protective garment and stuff that he has on there, if that bothers Bates, and he says no. He said Bates hits him so hard he doesn't need his hands.
Said he's just one of those guys. 2nd and 7, Broncos, their own 18. Elway gives to Winder again. Stopped by Dutton, but he's very close to first down yardage. Flags come flying. Winder got 8. I think Bates is involved in this altercation.
I think it started with Clarence Kay, the tight end of the Broncos. You know, usually those guys that stay with their blocks are the guys that start fighting when they get behind.
Might have been Jeff Rohr involved instead of Bates.
Well, you know, guys like that can block a long time and finish off blocks, get a lot of fights started. Watch him right there, number 88. Well, you see, he hits him from behind. He's hitting Rohr from behind. He gave him a double-dipper whap in the back. And then Rohr turned. Well, that time they got the guy who started it.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 88, offense. It's still 2nd down.
Not much doubt about it. In fact, no doubt about it.
Unless Rohr did something before that.
That could be. How about this? The Eagles shut out Atlanta. Falcons dropped to 4-1. Washington continues to roll 14-6 over New Orleans. George Rogers had 100 yards, 110 yards, as a matter of fact. 23-0 shutout by the Bears.
I wonder if these Cowboys can get ready for the Redskins coming down there next week.
They're going to be beat up at 2nd and 12. Elway makes a one-hand grab. Can't find anybody, finally does. It's out of bounds. Mark Jackson was the intended receiver. The Giants beat St. Louis, improved their record to 4-1. Giant defense had 7 sacks against St. Louis. Lomax taking a tremendous beating this year. Detroit 24-13 over Houston. That's the final, of course. Cincinnati beat Green Bay, although Packers came back.
Esiason didn't have any interceptions this week. Last week he had a long day.
Last week he had a tough time against that Bear defense. Raiders beat Kansas City. 3rd and 12. Fellows is back in the game at cornerback. Elway. Incomplete. Elway was looking at big Ed Jones and had to unload a little too soon.
I'm sure that's one thing the Cowboy defensive line worked against this week, is that pass between the line and the quarterback. You know, that shuffle pass type of thing. Because that's the second one the Broncos tried to throw. First time Jeffcoat darn near intercepted it, and that time Ed Too Tall Jones smelled it out.
Jack Wheel back to kick, and Robert Levette standing just in Dallas territory at about their 48. Wheel out of the end zone. 6:03 left, 3rd quarter. Won't turn over. Levette trying to run it down, and can't. It hit him. He got on it. The ricochet picked up about 8 yards for Dallas, and Levette got on it. It'll be 1st down Cowboys with 5:54 left to play, 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I know I need life insurance, but I hate spending money on something I hope I'll never use and won't be around to enjoy if it ever is used.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate has life insurance that pays you for living. Allstate Universal Life. It protects your family if you die, and it can provide competitive earnings for your retirement.
So, my family's set if I'm gone, and I'm in the money if I stick around. I think I'll stick around.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
This fabulous official NFL travel bag, complete with your team's emblem and colors, can be yours free. It's yours when you buy 10 rolls or more of energy-saving Owens Corning insulation.
Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. The V8 with so much performance, it makes every road a downhill run. Oldsmobile quality. Feel it.
Clouds over Denver. Clouds over the Cowboys at the moment. 22-7 next week on CBS. John and I'll be in Dallas. And the Redskins come to town. Chicago Bears go to Houston. The rest of that lineup all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern. And then the Eagles and the Giants. Minnesota, San Francisco. Valor, outside Banks. Got a blocker in front. Good play by Steve Wilson. Howard Richards was out in front of him. Now Banks wants some rest. Mike Sherrard comes in.
That's what it looks like from where we are, from what we're looking at to where we are.
In case anybody ever looks at it.
In case anyone ever cared.
Second down and 6 at the Denver 39. Richards. Jump. The man in front of him. Andre Townsend.
You notice that these offensive linemen are wearing these jerseys tighter and tighter?
Offense.
Yep.
Second down.
It's like they're these big guys that are wearing small jerseys. That's so the guys can't hold them. I mean, you can't even tell their numbers or anything.
Well, the numbers look funny.
I know it.
And so tight.
And then they tape those jerseys to the numbers. And some of them, if you got a little crease going down there, you can't even see the bottom of the number. You just get the top.
That's the kitchen.
Newton.
Right.
Get lost half his number somewhere.
Second and 11. Valor gets around the corner. Had him in. There was Herschel Walker who couldn't come down with it. Valor did a good job to get it close to him. Tony Lilly on the coverage.
See, look, he's one, you know, where's the other half of his number? What is half of 67? That'd be about 33 and a half?
Yeah. 6'3", 306.
He weighs more than that.
Played in the USFL. Has a brother who plays for Minnesota.
This could be a brother here.
His brother's known as the freezer. He's the kitchen. And, of course, there's a guy named the refrigerator. Cosby came up with the ball. He got the bounce. And he had it as another ricochet for good yardage.
That was an interesting formation. They had 3 guys lined up out here in a line. Then they threw to the other side to Cosby. Look at him out here. They have the 2 wide receivers and Herschel Walker behind him. This was over here in the right side. That was a decoy. Then over here on the left side is Cosby. So they want him to look. Everyone look over there, and then they'll throw here. So they throw it to the defensive guy, and Cosby catches it on the bounce. Pretty good play.
First down, Dallas at the Denver 30, and the crowd starting to get a little concerned. Valor. Draw play to Walker, and there's nothing there. A loss of 5 at least. Mecklenburg again.
Well, in the nose tackle, Greg Pragan was in there too. Watch 71. He's going to be right up there in the middle along with Mecklenburg. See both of them there? Pragan hit him first, hit him in the side. Mecklenburg has him over the top. That's penetration. That's getting in the backfield. You know that Greg Pragan, he's from the same town I am, Pleasanton. Played high school against my son.
And had a good day.
Sacked him 5 times. Boy, if you're a father, you remember those things.
Second and 15, and here they come again. Valor has some time. There's a penalty marker down. Here's Walker. Walker still on his feet. He would have enough for a Dallas first down, but it's going to be holding.
Hey, that was a play that the Cowboys needed. It's not going to count.
Number 61, offense, hands to the face, second down.
Hey, you know, we talked about Herschel Walker and how fast he is, but how about how strong he is? They got hold of him trying to grab a jersey, trying the old bulldog stuff. That doesn't do it until you get a little help. Finally, when Tony Lilly got over there, they finally got him down. I mean, those are like two pistons. Those legs go boom, 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 boom.
Second and 24. Back at the 44 now. Now watch that front line of Denver, and let's see who does what. Delore going deep. Sherrard could not come down with it. Steve Wilson back there, number 45. That'll bring up a third and 24.
There's a guy who wants to do well today, Steve Wilson. Remember, he played for the Cowboys. He was a wide receiver, then they moved him to defensive back. Then he came here with the Broncos, and he's a defensive back. That looks like a jump ball. Just throw it up and see who wins the jump ball contest. Wilson won that one.
Third down. They're back at the 44, out of field goal range. Hill comes out wide to the right. Sherrard, Cosby go left. Tough time for an offensive lineman. Delore up into the pocket. And Hill had it. It was a good throw. Lewis right.
Tony Hill has to catch that ball. That's a good throw by Delore. He had pressure in his face. That just goes right through his hands. He has to catch those. Well, I'll tell you, Delore on his part did everything he had to. Because he was getting some pressure. Watch from his right side, right there. And he had to throw that ball under that pressure, and that was a darn good throw.
Saxon back to punt for Dallas. Will Hyde standing at the 10. He landed in the end zone. 44-yard punt, no return, but they'll bring it back to the 20.
That ball took off, didn't it?
Didn't it? 2 minutes, 16 seconds left, third quarter. Mecklenburg looks like something like his helmet may have popped down on the top of his nose there.
That's what happened. You know, that's what it is. I'm sure that he got hit on the top, and the top of the helmet just comes down right there and gets that nose right above the bridge there.
I got one of those.
I think everyone has one of those. I have a couple of those in there. And then you get older, then you grow a crease right over it like this. It goes down like this.
Then you give up the idea of modeling.
Especially nose modeling.
Elway gives straight ahead to Will Hyde. He got about 4. There's Mecklenburg, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, see, and he's saying he can't be a nose model. He'll be other things, but he probably won't model noses when he gets done. Got a little something on that lip, too.
That may have just dripped down there.
Well, that's good, or you can rub it down there. No, I don't think Elway's completed a pass this second half, has he?
That's right, he has not. Second down. About 6, it looks like. Will Hyde straight ahead, hit by Bates and Martin Tuine.
I'll tell you, that's one thing I don't think you want to do is pull in the horns. I think that you get something like this and you just keep it going, and you keep your mixture going. I never thought you wanted to start running out the clock too soon.
Well, you see it happen not just in football. In just about every sport, when you start trying to sit on a lead, the other folks start picking up in the middle aspect, and all of a sudden they're back in it. Elway. He got the first down with that last-minute struggle in the arms of John Dutton.
I tell you, that Elway's a competitor.
Strong.
He ran that like a fullback.
Strong.
I think he made a bad cut. He likes that. You know, watch him. He's going to start up the middle. I think he could have stayed out there to his right. Look at the hole he had. But he wanted to make the cut back, lower his shoulder, drive those legs, drive. Get the first down. Who would think that guy's a quarterback?
He looks like he's been working on the machine.
Yeah, he's like John Riggins or someone.
Got to get him another number.
Well, yeah, he'll want to, you know, next week he'll want to start hitting the sled. Build up those legs, get a little leg drive going.
First and 10, Denver. Seconds running out in quarter number 3. Here they come with Will Hyde, and he is caught from behind by Ed Jones and John Dutton.
You know, everyone runs that play. That's the old Redskin play. They call it the counter trade. And I think that they've seen it so much that they just run it right down. Watch Too Tall Jones. When he sees that guard and tackle pull, he gets right in there behind him, right down the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Denver 22, Dallas 7. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
We're opening a new Lumberman's Building Center in Issaquah, and we're celebrating with fantastic store-wide savings.
Insulate now with Manville fiberglass insulation. With qualified purchase, you can receive your favorite college football sportswear. Save on Mecklenburg Duncan acrylic rubber sealant with silicone. Guaranteed to last 35 years. Only $149 after manufacturer rebate.
Join our celebration where you'll find low prices, quality products, and great selection.
Did you ever notice how sometimes with unleaded regular gasoline, even your new car can feel like an old clunker? All that knocking and pinging can wither your youthful enthusiasm quickly. But there is a gasoline that can prevent all that. Super 76, a premium unleaded.
Fill her up, Sonny.
It's got the kind of high-octane performance that can help prevent cars from aging prematurely.
The Spirit of 76.
An official sponsor of the Liberty Centennial.
Hi, I'm Dick Enberg for GTE. You know, telecommunications and football have a lot in common. They both involve things like good connections, conference calls, and data communications. And for their communications, more and more NFL teams rely on GTE. Teams like the Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Bucks, Indianapolis Colts, and Seattle Seahawks. For your quality communications, talk to the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 21. Talk to GTE.
KIRO-TV, Channel 7, Seattle. The heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Owens Corning, our building products put your home in the pink. And by Radio Shack, the computer experts with over 400 computer centers coast to coast.
Second and 11. Elway from the spread. Can't find anybody. Now it's Chase. Might find somebody someday. Brett Sampson is finally the target. And finally gets open, and Elway finally hits it. Jeffcoat had about 3 shots at Elway and was knocked down about 3 times.
I know that Billy Bryan, the center, knocked him down for that 3rd time when he was ready to get all over Elway. They wanted to run this defensive line around. They're doing it. Watch him. He starts here. He can't find anything. No one's open yet. And then he's going to. Then Jeffcoat's dead. Jeffcoat gets up. Jeffcoat goes down. Bryan knocks him down again. Picks him off. Elway's still looking. Now, I'll tell you what happens on that, Pat. Those receivers, while Elway's doing, they have to keep working too.
Eventually, he'll find you. Back to Winder. Chased by Downs and knocked out of bounds by Ed Jones.
Here's Too Tall. He made a play in a run before that. Here he is playing off the block, coming down the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you, he's used to guys running sweeps at him. He's tough to do two things to. One, get around on a sweep, and two, throw over. But I'll tell you, he's getting tired. Yeah. That's a long day, and those guys have no subs either. There's nothing they can do about it.
I know it. Randy White is down out with a hamstring. Chouiney is playing now at defensive tackle in his place. Elway with his tight end Kay. Bates hits him, and Lockhart hits him, but he still got the first down. A gain of 11.
You know, Kay right now is not a top receiver as a tight end. They say he's a great blocker, and he's developing. He's getting better because when he was in college, he never caught the ball. You know, he was just a blocker. So he's been a blocker here most of the time. As Dan Reeves says, he's coming as a receiver.
He's lined up to the left now with Mobley also in there, the backup tight end. Stop, and a flag is down at the bottom of that pile. 13 minutes plus left to play. Holding against Denver.
You know, of course, Clarence Kay, watch him the end here. He played at Georgia blocking for Herschel Walker. But watch him fire out. I mean, he's fire out square. He takes his man right out of the picture.
Offense. First down.
And there's a penalty on that play, but, you know, I was talking about Clarence Kay. He just drove his guy with the initial hit and just put him like 5 yards back. I kind of like that. He got the gloves going, not much pads, just got the gloves on. Big shoulder pads, little loose jersey.
Weighs 238.
Yeah. You know, there's some young tight ends coming around in this league.
That's right.
Kay here, Bavaro, and with the Giants, we've seen some good young ones.
Sampson was the intended receiver. Walls had a crack at an interception and couldn't find the handle.
You know, one of the best offensive linemen of the Broncos is number 76 right here, Ken Lanier. He's a right tackle. Watch him in his pass protection against Too Tall Jones. He started to the inside, pushed him off, then Dutton was coming on a stunt. That's good pickup. You take the first guy, boom, pop him to the inside, wait for the guy coming around, boom, pick him up.
Elway out of the sprint on 2nd and 20 from midfield. No flag. Going for the bunch again. And caught by Clint Sampson in front of Bill Bates. A pickup of about 16.
You know, the amazing thing about this is we see Sampson work there. That was against a zone. That's a deep man and a short man, and he hit Sampson between the two. But I tell you, Elway threw that from the right hash mark. So you look at, you know, it's about 17 yards down the field, but all the way across the field, too.
That brings up a 3rd and 4. Clock still running. Retreats. Steve Watson with the good hand.
Dan Reeves said, every time I see Steve Watson make a great catch, I think he'll never do it again. But he said every week he does it, and here's one of them. Look, both hands getting up in the air, just taking that thing right out of the air. Of course, we can talk about that, but this is what makes it all possible. That's the protection. 4-man rush, boom, solid in there, have the back end to help, keep him right there, form in the perfect pocket so that Elway can, 1, see his guy, and 2, step and follow through.
And he can get it there. First down, Broncos at the Dallas 17. It's Winder on the move. That's Wilhite straight ahead. Wilhite hit backwards by Bates. A gain of 2.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's ever a skirmish after a play, Bates is usually right in the middle of it. See him that time he was going against Dave Studdard, the tackle. Boy, Jeff Kemp's having a big day for the 49ers, huh?
Their last 3 touchdowns have been thrown by Kemp, all 3 to Jerry Rice. Don't forget about them, by the way. They're a good team. 2nd and 8 at the 15. Wilhite to about the 12. John Dutton tripped him up. That'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
I wonder if this is where the Broncos, in fact, John Elway's coming over here to talk to Dan Reeves. Just talk to him. As Wilhite's coming out. I wonder if this is where they might try a trick play, like a run pass. Wilhite is one of the guys who would throw that run pass.
The other, Sampson, and he's in the game.
Sewell is always a possibility for a trick.
12 plays. The Broncos have had the ball almost 7 minutes. That's Sewell in motion. Elway gets it outside. Touchdown, Gene Lang. Denver 28, Dallas 7. Elway's 3rd touchdown pass, that to Gene Lang. This extra point is good.
If you have protection like that, and throws like that, you don't need any tricks. Just go back and throw it.
29-7 with 10:03 left to play in the game.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
When you need a truck to lean on, nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Today's most popular software programs come to life in the Tandy 1000 computer. A computer with 50% faster clock speed than the IBM PC. Tandy engineered desk-made software, executed through the microprocessor command center, makes the Tandy 1000 incredibly easy to use. See the Tandy 1000 family of value-priced personal computers only at Radio Shack.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
This gentleman just wiped me out with a roll of the dice. But when it comes to real investing with real money, consider Smith Barney, where wiser heads than mine scrutinize every possibility, because good investments don't happen by chance. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
This is the way the Broncos wanted to get it done. Things don't always work out like that, but today at least, everything we could learn, their preparation, this is how they had prepared. Pretty impressive right there. 7 minutes and 13 seconds they kept the ball. Harless to kick off. Levette and Quack. Back deep for Dallas. Levette at the 1. To maybe the 21.
Yeah, we talked about about this Bronco defense, and of course we talked about Herschel Walker being such a big part of this Cowboy offense. He's had 13 carries for 34 yards. And of course they would like to have Tony Dorsett back, and they think that they might have him next week.
Danny White, of course, also missed today. Now Randy White pulled a hamstring, and he's out today. Rulon Jones saying that somebody pulled him offside.
Full start, number 61.
Somebody did.
First down.
Jim Cooper.
Hey, old Cooper's having a tough time today. In that last drive, it was, you know, he got that 10-yard penalty for hitting in the face, jumped off sides on that play. Tom Landry got that earpiece going in there. You know, that's really not a headset. See, if you have a headset, you couldn't wear it with a hat. That thing just sticks in his ear.
There's Walker. Battling straight ahead. Not much doing. Greg Cragen. Walker got 4.
So Walker has like 14 carries for 38 yards. And that's not a typical Herschel Walker day.
It's going to hurt his averages. He was averaging 6.1 per carry.
Looks like there's some confusion in the Cowboy huddle.
Second and 11.
We just saw Victor Scott going off the field there. They've already x-rayed that. He has a fractured wrist. So they're taking him now in the Cowboy locker room. Earlier, they took him in the Bronco locker room for the x-ray.
Here's Pallure on second and 11. Now the penalty marker goes down again. And from the reaction of the Bronco players, it's going to be against Dallas. And again, a false start.
63, offense, third down.
You know, they were going to have the center, Tom Rafferty, call the cadence because they were worried about this. One play, Cooper jumped off sides where the lineman couldn't hear it. That time the left guard, Glenn Titensor, did. We ought to look at this one to see. Well, see this one. See the left guard there moved on the last play. We ought to see if Rafferty is in fact calling the signals.
Forward handoff to Walker, and it fools nobody. Going in the other direction rapidly. Andre Townsend that time, a loss of 4.
And Randy Robbins was in there. You know, their safeties, their defensive backs of these Broncos have been in the backfield of the Cowboys as much as the Cowboy backs. That Robbins is having a big day. You know, a lot of times you don't count him to block him. But he gets up there in that line of scrimmage and comes across and he's in their backfield.
Third down. Pallure sacked at the 1. Rulon Jones.
Side playing over the guard, starts to work outside on a stunt, then has Richards pick him up, then he takes back on the inside against Richards and comes up with a sack almost for another safety.
Tough day for Pallure. Saxon.
This is going to be a tough place to punt because he doesn't get his normal 15-yard drop.
And if he steps out of the end zone, it's another safety. Mark Jackson back deep. Good kick by Saxon. Close to 80 yards, he left it on the ground. I don't know who got it. It looked as if the Cowboys might have. And they come up with it. Todd Fowler is down there. 58-yard punt by Saxon out of the end zone. That's a heck of an effort right there.
And then to come up with the ball. Hey, the Cowboys special teams were hustling down there. I don't know what it looked like. He tripped, his feet tripped, and as his feet tripped, the ball just went out of his hands.
That's the first Denver turnover of the day. Cowboys have it at the Denver 46-yard line. Valor back to throw if he has time. To Tony Hill, and I think he caught it. Yes, it's a catch.
That may be an instant replay one. We'll have to look at that one again. I tell you, Tony Hill was down, just reached out his right arm. Look at him here, he's running to the inside on a hook. Now he's looking to the outside. He goes down and catches that ball. I don't know if that was a one-hopper or not. Let's see if that ball hit the ground. No, it didn't hit the ground. He hit his hands and bounced up.
He caught it.
That was a legal catch. The umpire is talking now. They're talking.
They're consulting.
They're consulting. I'm sure he's telling them if he looked at that last replay, he would see that it didn't hit the ground. Yeah. Here they're looking at it, calling down. They're probably looking at it again. This is what they're looking at. You can see it's going to hit his hand. See, his hands are down there underneath the ball. Then it goes up to his chest, and then he had control of that ball. That's a legal catch.
They're still consulting.
This is something. I like instant replay. I think it's going to take some time to get the bugs worked out, but it adds another dimension. I think it's another thing for the fans. I think it's a way that something terrible doesn't happen in a game and you get away with it.
Jerry Mark Bright still listening, and they're still talking.
I don't know that it takes that much talk. There they are right there. The official is Tony Viteri. He's an ex-NFL official. Joe Ryan, he's a communicator. He's from the league office.
And they're going to bring it back.
The pass is ruled incomplete. Second down on the 36-yard line.
I'll tell you, they saw something we didn't see. I think they missed that one. This may be the angle that they look, but his hands are between the ground and the football. And unless the ball's on the ground there before he turns over, that's the only thing I can see they see. But right there, he has his hands between the ground and the ball. Unless they had a rule that the ball was on the ground underneath his stomach, that's the only thing I can see.
They bring it back. In any case, it's second down at 10. Valor's back to throw, and the Broncos are blitzing. Valor gets away from one. Gets away from two. Now that's a catch. Review it all you want to. He caught it.
Are you talking to those guys in the booth?
Well, they overruled us.
Take that one. You want to see a catch? I'll show you a catch. Watch this. You go down. You feel your quarterback scramble. So you start across the field. So he was way over on the right side. Then he starts to work over in the left. And he catches the ball. Legal catch.
First down. Dallas has it at the Denver 22. The Broncos lead at 29-7. Just over 6 minutes left to play. Valor back. Mecklenburg hurdles somebody. That's Newsom. Newsom down to about the 12. Rick Dennison. Watch Mecklenburg.
Did you see that what he did? I don't know that I've ever seen a guy this big. I mean, we're talking about a 250-pound guy. Watch him on the rush. Walker starts to block him. He just hurdles right over Herschel Walker. And Titans finally picks him up. I don't think I've ever seen a guy that big do something like that.
Second and 1. Newsom got 9 on the pass from Valor. Valor back to throw again. Takes outside to Walker. Walker out of bounds. For an NFL update, let's go back to Brent Busberger again in New York.
Well, Pat and John, we've had everything today, so why not an overtime? With 5 seconds left, Uguay Buike of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nails down this field goal. The Rams have won the flip. They'll receive in overtime in Anaheim. Back to Pat and John.
All right, Brent, we're back at Mile High Stadium with the Broncos in control of things. With 5:22 left to play, and Dallas on the move now. Inside the 10. first and goal. Incomplete, intended, or in the direction of Walker. Randy Robbins on the coverage again.
Hey, that Randy Robbins has been all over the field. There's a flag on the play, too. In fact, I think there could be 2 flags on the play, but that you know, if you gave a game ball or an MVP, he could get it today.
Number 45, defense, automatic first down.
Steve Wilson. Automatic first down. Dallas at about the 4-yard line. It'll be first and goal.
First, that was away from the ball. Steve Wilson is a cornerback. Was thrown to Herschel Walker. Steve Wilson is out there on Tony Hill. You see him now. He was hit. The first hit was legal. I don't know where the hold was.
First and goal, Dallas. Valor in a hurry out to Newsom. Newsom, touchdown. Those who might have just joined the game, the second quarter was the big quarter for the Broncos. They lead right now 29-13 with Raphael Septien about set to try the extra point. 60 minutes will be coming up next, except on the West Coast. Have guns will travel, the retired American general who will fight your war for you as long as you're fighting communists. Tonight on 60 Minutes. Septien with Pallur holding. And it's good. So with 5:12 still left to play, it's Denver 29, Dallas 14.
Today's real estate investments come in all shapes and sizes, but the tax laws have changed, and shaping your real estate investments depends on having up-to-date knowledge. That's why Century 21 offices are introducing Investor Days with investor workshops and this free booklet to give you timely information that could influence the shape of your financial future. Don't miss Century 21 Investor Days, October 6th through the 12th.
Practice till it can't get any smoother. That's what it takes to be the best in your class. But when you finally got it all together, when your heart and your hands won everybody over, there's nothing sweeter. Wild Irish Rose knows that feeling. We've been the best in our class for over 30 years.
Pick the winner, pick the rose, pick the one everybody knows.
The Michigan Wolverines, a team of explosive dimensions. But can they control the one-man explosion of Heisman hopeful Lorenzo White next Saturday on CBS Sports?
It's 29-14 with 5:12 left to play. 29-14, Denver leading Dallas. And we're in the fourth quarter. Coming up next, of course, 60 minutes, except on the West Coast. As soon as it's over.
This could be an onside kick here, Pat.
I think there's too much doubt about it.
Well, they need 3 scores, the Cowboys do.
Denver's expecting. Dallas got it. Dallas ball. It hit somebody in the head, and Johnny Holloway came down with it.
I'll tell you, that's a pretty good play. They had a shift and everything. Now, when you're going down there, the front guys don't try and go for it. They try and block against them. You see the good block there? They're trying to block the Broncos out, and then you bring in your second wave to come up with the ball.
Todd Fowler is the guy who caved in the Bronco rush. And Holloway came up with it.
Fowler caved in about 3 of them, I think.
So it's first down, Cowboys at the Denver 49. Who would have thought?
I'll tell you, Steve Pallor has done a pretty good job today.
With the pressure that's been on him, he's done a heck of a job. Back again is Pallor. Gets it out to Newsom. Newsom steps away from one Bronco, puts his head down and gets down to about their 35. Mike Harden finally brought him down. Good move by Newsom, a pickup of 14. In the event you might have missed some of the other scores. Washington rolling right along. The Giants continue. Cleveland wins for the first time at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Detroit over Houston. Here, the Cowboys on the move against Denver, but trailing 29-14. Pallor back to throw. To Sherrard. He's down in the arms of Randy Robbins, but it's another Dallas first down. Clock running. Dallas has all of their timeouts remaining, by the way. A gain of 13. 49ers 35-14 over Indianapolis. They're in overtime. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Los Angeles.
I think the Cowboys here ought to start throwing it in the end zone now because, like we say, they need 3 scores.
Pallor to Cosby. To the 11. And another first down. Now they better really put it in the end zone.
Well, they have to do that because they need a score here, and then they have to come back with another onside, another score, then another onside.
That's a little hard to be optimistic about that situation. Danny White hopes to be able to play next week. First down, Cowboys. They're at the 12. Here they come. Batted away by Denver. The blitz was on the way. Rulon Jones got a big hand up and knocked it down. Left to play at Mile High Stadium with the Cowboys at the Denver 12 trading 29-14. Pallor on today's job is 22 out of 37 at this point. That's Walker in motion. Here comes the Denver blitz. Pallor gets away from it, gets it to Tony Hill. He stayed inbounds and gets to about the 8.
Hey, Pallor has given a little of that Elway stuff, a little of the run. Here he starts. This is an organized rollout. See, he took his first couple steps back and boom out here to the left, found Tony Hill. That's the 3rd pass that Tony Hill caught in a row on his knees.
Or sliding or diving.
He has to catch one where he has his feet under him where he can run in.
3rd and 5. Hill is split wide to the left. Sherrard over to the right. Newsom, I think it was deflected by Mecklenburg. And he knocked it behind Newsom.
I think with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I think if you're going to throw the ball here, you have to throw it in the end zone. Because when you complete one, you want a touchdown. That's Danny White. See, he's signaling in. Paul Hackett talks to Tom Landry. Tom Landry gives a play to Danny White. Danny White signals it in to Steve Pallor, who calls it in the hunter.
Brings up a 4th and 5 situation with 2.5 minutes left to play. Sherrard and Hill both are split wide to the right. Intercepted in the end zone by Louis Wright. For the Broncos, 2:23 left, and they lead 29-14.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be All You Can Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. One of the NFL's most aggressive strong safeties is number 49, Dennis Smith of the Denver Broncos. When it comes to defense, Smith exerts all-out effort. He will leap, dive, sacrifice his body, do anything necessary to stop an offense. By being totally unselfish when it comes to tracking down the opposition, Dennis Smith is the best he can be.
Apache. There's nothing hotter in the air or on the ground for Jack Holt, Army crew chief.
The Apache's got advanced everything, like a TV for target acquisition. The gunner aims just by moving his head. Talk about hot. This bird can make tracks at 200 miles an hour. Now that's cool. No, that's hot. Find your future in the Army.
We've got regional coverage here on CBS next Sunday. Now you will see our pregame show at either 12:30 Eastern or 3:30 Eastern, and then take a look at our lineup of games. This is probably the best menu we've had all season long. The Washington Redskins, unbeaten, will go down into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles, Buddy Ryan bringing that defense along. They'll be taking on the New York Giants. The Chicago Bears go down into Houston. The Bears are still unbeaten. And now the Rams, after having won that dramatic overtime game, go into Atlanta. The Falcons are only once beaten. Rest of the lineup: Minnesota against San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, St. Louis against Tampa Bay, and New Orleans against Indianapolis. Now let's send you back for the conclusion of the game in Denver. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden.
And the situation here, Brent, is 2:23 left to play. Denver with the ball at their own 20-yard line, leading 29-14. John Elway put on a clinic in the second quarter. And it's been a tough day score-wise and injury-wise and yardage-wise for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the Cowboys, when they get some of these guys well and get them back, they're going to be a much better team as the season progresses. I really believe that.
Winder. Mike Eggman stopped him, and let's take you back again to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat and John, I want everybody to see this dramatic run by Eric Dickerson that won the game in overtime. It's 42 yards for the touchdown. On the day, Dickerson, 30 carries, 207 yards, and the Rams win it 26-20. Let's go back to Pat and John.
And those of you who saw that contest, this is Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Broncos leading Dallas 29-14. And that's the situation with 2:16 left to play. Dallas has 2 timeouts remaining. Denver has all 3 of theirs.
See that Dickerson on that play? He really took off, didn't he? You know, they say he runs the ball too much. I'll tell you, I think if I had him, I'd give it to him all the time, too.
He gained over 200 yards. I think that that's pretty good justification for running him, don't you?
And then winning the game for him. You know, we just saw the story there, the miscues that I think, you know, the 2 things that happened to Dallas. One is they have all those injuries. Their quarterback's out. He went down Thursday. They lose Randy White early, and they have those penalties and turnovers. And then you put the other side over there, John Elway and a defense doing what they're doing. It's going to be a long day.
Second down and 5 at the 25. Sewell in motion. Sammy Winder gets the first down outside the 30. Michael Downs and Everson Walls on the stop. Pick up a 5.
You know, Tom Landry says he enjoys playing his ex-coaches. He said, but I don't want to lose to him.
And of course, Dan Rees is going to do that to him today. 2 minutes left.
Good grief! The world-famous MetLife representative didn't eat his dinner. He's been up all night reading. Unprecedented! Oh, I know. As a Met rep, Snoopy is boarding up for his advanced training course, so his customers get the most professional service. This calls for an oversized chocolate chip crisis cookie. Such dedication. Such commitment. Get Met. It pays.
I've been shot at, shot up, and shot down. So I don't take chances on anything. I won't touch a filter that isn't from AC. Why mess with air filters that can't go for up to 30,000 miles? or oil filters that can't deliver up to 15,000. For the AC Delco retailer nearest you, just give me a call at 1-800-AC Delco. If you put your muscle into a job, use your head and do it with AC Delco.
When we want to work up a sweat, nothing works like this tough, full-size Chevy pickup. It's got the muscle of a fuel-injected 350 V8. And it's available in every full-size Chevy. It's got the strength of girder beam front suspension. Where? Oh, there. Plus, double-wall construction. So, when you need a tough-working partner, nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing. Yeah? Yeah. Right?
Denver 29, Dallas 14. Tonight on CBS. Have Guns Will Travel. Retired American general who will fight your war for you as long as you are fighting communists. That's on 60 Minutes. And following that, it is Murder, She Wrote. Part 2 of a 2-part episode, followed by a new CBS miniseries, The Last Frontier, starring Linda Evans and Jason Robards Jr. Winder over the left side. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. John Dutton was there.
Now we're starting to look like football here, aren't we? And that's Steve Wilson, a cornerback. And when you get a little dirt like that on the back and a little blood and stuff in the front, and you're playing cornerback, that's been a pretty wild game out there today.
It can be a difficult position.
Well, you know, especially the safeties have been up there more than the corners. Nose tackles have fan clubs. That's Greg Cragen.
Right.
He's a nose tackle. He has his own little group.
It's a Dallas timeout. They have one left. Let's take a look at some of the injuries today. Dennis Smith, pulled a groin, is out. Kay injured his ribs and has been playing since that. That was in the first half. He returned to play. Randy White pulled a hamstring. He's been gone since then. Victor Scott fractured his wrist. He's out. And we add now Bill Bates to that list with a sprained ankle in addition to the 4 pins in his finger.
Right, and then you look at that sideline and you see Danny White, who's been there all day, hasn't played. You see Tony Dorsett suited up, but in a dress suit. And that's another one of the problems for the Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Second down and 10 at the 30. Will Height, straight ahead, stopped by Mark Tuinei. Reggie Collier, the third Dallas quarterback, over talking to Steve Pallure, or close to him. They were talking.
Well, you know, and Collier is the third quarterback, but when they had so many injuries at wide receiver, they moved him to a wide receiver. So in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Collier had been working as a wide receiver, not a quarterback.
Again, let's go back for an NFL update to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat and John, the San Francisco 49ers go to 4-1, and what a day quarterback Jeff Kemp had, and Jerry Rice. Rice caught 6 passes for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Niners are now tied with the Rams in Atlanta. All are at 4-1. Back to Denver. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden.
The NFC West shaping up quite well.
You know, in today's football, you need that thing. We talked about it last week in the Bears with Willie Gault. You need speed. And the 49ers have it in Jerry Rice. And you know, that's what Bill Walsh said. He said, we're going to develop that. He said, we need that in our football, and our guy's going to be Rice.
3rd and 10. 1:46 left to play. The give again is to Winder. Michael Downs up with help from Eugene Lockhart to bring him down. Now the clock will run.
But you know, I think of the teams that we've seen this year, Denver's one of the best. I think the Bears are the other one of the best. And to me, those are the 2 best teams right now, the way they're playing right now in the NFL. If I had to pick them, I would say Denver and the Bears.
John Elway's had a good day, and the Denver defense has had a good day. So has Gerald Wilhite. Don't leave him out. Scored 3 touchdowns.
You know, and they've played a solid game. I mean, you think of the offense and how they move the ball running and passing. defense, how they've stopped it. Think of the special teams, how they've played. I'll tell you, I don't think that guy has a right arm there. I think there's a gun in there.
Boy, he could hurt somebody throwing a ball.
Yeah, but he looks so innocent. You know, the baby face type thing, and you pack a weapon like that on you.
Well, you ask Dan Reeves about him, about what kind of arm he's got, and he just shakes his head.
He doesn't want to warm him up. Because sometimes coaches will warm up quarterbacks, but you don't warm up guys like Elway. Let him throw it into a wall or something.
Wheel back to punt. And Levette back for Dallas. 1:02 left to play. Dallas out of timeouts now. All out rush, he gets it away. Levette try to run it out of bounds. It does run it out of bounds. At about the 41. Again, the early games next week. Of course, it all begins with the NFL today. Washington goes to Dallas, where we'll be. Chicago, Houston, Rams against Atlanta, Detroit, Green Bay, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, Indianapolis. Those are the early games. Philadelphia against the Giants, or Minnesota, San Francisco late. Handsome lineup. 1st and 10, Dallas.
See those people standing over there behind that bench behind it? Boy, did we used to get abuse over there. Woo! What talk went on behind that bench?
Valor out of the spread. Gets the screen pass out to Herschel Walker. Herschel down the sideline and out of bounds. It's a Dallas first down. 45 seconds now. Woodard knocked him out of bounds.
Over the years, they've changed, though. Now they look young and innocent. Boy, in those days, they didn't look like that.
Looks like they built a higher fence.
Yeah.
Best records over the last 3 years. The Bears 30-7. The Broncos right behind. And the 49ers after that. Those are all updated as of today.
I think sometimes it gets lost, but one of the guys that over those years has been doing a great coaching job is Dan Reeves.
Elway by Andre Townsend again. That's 5 sacks. Clock will run. Now they've stopped it while they regroup. Now they start it again. Valor gets him back in a hurry.
Valor just looks like Elway.
Spins out of it. Almost picked off by Louis Wright again. Valor has had no time.
Well, they've been all over him. You know, they probably, you know, we talked about their formations. The Broncos will use as many as 30 offensive formations, but they use as many defenses, and many different defenses. Dan Reeves was saying, he said to Joe Collier, how do you get all those things in? And he said, as long as there's colleges, I'll get them in and have names for them. He just names defense by the colleges the guys went to. Like they have the Gopher and the Bulldog and the Trojan and all that.
3rd and 21. Valor has some time this time. Incomplete. Pass intended for Mike Sherrard. And the clock stops with 20 seconds to go.
I'll tell you, yeah, he's still getting hit after he throws. Even at the end of the game when they're put in their subs. I'll tell you, Valor is going to be sore tomorrow. As good as young.
He's going to be sore tonight. He's got a little blood on his side.
Yeah, he has a little. Probably someone else's that rubbed off as they were grabbing at him.
29-14. 3 wide receivers stacked up on the left. Valor has to scramble. Nobody there. Picked off by Mike Harden. Game's going to be over by the time he gets through running, and he goes out of bounds. Herschel Walker pushed him out of bounds, and there are 3 seconds remaining. And a flag down.
64 Dallas, declined, first down.
60 minutes coming up, except on the West Coast. Long afternoon at Mile High, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But not if you follow the Broncos, and they have some of the most devoted fans in the entire game.
I'll tell you, they do. I remember when we used to come in here and they had bad teams, they still had a full house. I mean, even, you know, they would let the team know, they would boo, but I'll tell you, they always had a full house here in Denver.
They got a tough order coming up, and so does Dallas.
These guys have a tough order. You know, it looked like a couple weeks ago that Philadelphia could be easy.
For John Madden, and this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the final score was Denver 29, Dallas 14. Coming up next on the NFL Today, the wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
It has something to cool your face.
Thanks. I needed that.
Something to soothe your face.
Thanks. I needed that.
Something to smooth your face.
Thanks. I needed that.
Something to tone, to tighten, to brace your face and help get you going.
Thanks. I needed that.
You're not finished shaving till you've used Skin Bracer Aftershave after every shave. It has what your face needs. Skin Bracer.
By men.
What a team! We got fans! Because we give 110%. Give 110% and expect it. From everyone, everything. Speedstick Antiperspirant gives 110%. Why? It's the most powerful protection you can get. Nothing fights wetness and odor better. Glides on dry, lasts all day. That's 110% protection.
Speedstick Antiperspirant, the wide stick.
That's your edge.
By Menon.
A quick scoring update on our way to 60 Minutes. And tonight on 60 Minutes, Have Guns Will Travel. A retired American general will fight your war for you as long as you are fighting communists. Now in the NFL, all games are final. The Denver Broncos, one of the 3 unbeaten teams. They beat Dallas 29-14. San Francisco now 4-1, 35-14 over Indianapolis. The Jets go to 4-1 in dramatic fashion. Inside of a minute to go, Ken O'Brien looking to the right, looking to the right. There are 12 Bills on the field. It doesn't matter. Mickey Schuler is open, and it's the winner as they come back 14-13 in that game. The Rams in overtime, 26-20 over Tampa Bay. Chicago now 5-0 on the season. Cincinnati 3-2 with the win, and the Packers are 0-5. Detroit 2-3 with the win over Houston today. Cleveland now 3-2. They come from behind twice. The Giants, their record 4-1. And Washington goes to 5-0 and heads to Dallas next week. The Raiders are 2-3. They come from behind to beat the Chiefs. New England all over Miami. The Dolphins are 1-4. Philadelphia shuts out Atlanta for new head coach Buddy Ryan. And next Saturday on CBS College Football, you will see the Michigan.
Jones agreed yesterday to pay $140 million for the Cowboys and immediately announced that Landry was out as head coach and University of Miami head coach Jimmy Johnson was in. Landry has been with the Cowboys for 29 years and was the only head coach the team ever had. He has a year left on his contract, but he said today he will leave the organization because, and we're quoting here, "It wouldn't be fair to keep me around hanging over everybody's shoulder," end quote. Cowboy president Tex Schramm survived the sale, and the new owner hopes to learn the ropes from him. Earlier today, Chris Myers talked with Schramm.
All right, thanks very much, Larry. We're with the man who had a lot to do with the building of the Cowboys, Tex Schramm, the president and general manager, 29 years the driving force behind the organization. And you've had some time to reflect on what happened last night, the completion of the sale. It was an emotional moment for you, and was it a rough night?
Well, it's rough. It's a rough weekend from the standpoint that Tom Landry and I have been together now for 29 years. We were together before the first player ran on the football field, and we've been through the good moments, and we've been through the bad moments. And it's and in football, your relationship is a very emotional relationship. So from that standpoint, it's not a happy weekend. But I would like to. I think it was extremely important that we did settle our ownership situation, because you can't, a football team or any other business can't really function if you have unless you have very strong stem going down the middle of your organization. And in this case, the questioning as far as ownership concerned put questions in everybody's mind. Now that's over and we can get on with building the team.
You met with Tom yesterday. Have you talked with him at all today? What is his mood?
Oh, he is, I think, the same way as me. He is not bitter or angry. When you come into this business, you know what the rules are, and you know everything that can happen. But I think he's a lot like me. When something has been your life, like the Cowboys have for him, and then all of a sudden think that tomorrow you're going to wake up and that isn't going to be your life, that's a tough thing to accept. And he's got just as big a heart and just as much emotion as anybody has, although sometimes you don't see it.
Jimmy Johnson is the new owner's choice. Can he win right away here?
Well, Jimmy's got a couple of tough hurdles to make. One, the National Football League is a great deal different than college football. And that'll be the first thing that he will have to try to, try to adjust to. But he is a very bright person, and I don't think he's going to have any trouble. But it's not going to come easily. Second thing is, we have a lot of rebuilding to do on our football team. And it's not going to, he's going to find that our personnel, as compared to other teams' personnel, might not be as superior as his personnel at Miami were to some of the other teams he played.
But quickly, Tex, I'm sorry, we're running out of time. Your future speculation that this would be your last year?
I'm going to try to do everything I can. I have a great feeling for the Cowboys because I was there when it started, and I want to see the history and the tradition continue. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make the transition as successful as possible.
All right, well, thanks for being with us, and good luck.
Right,
along with Tex Schramm, Chris Myers at the Cowboy Complex at Valley Ranch. Let's go back to SportsCenter and Larry Burnett.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Tom Landry said today he doesn't plan to get into politics. He said he'd find it awfully difficult to coach anywhere else but in Dallas, so he's probably going to work on his golf game. Jerry Jones says he plans to be a hands-on owner. He'll have an office in the team's headquarters, and he plans to get involved in NFL owners' meetings. Jimmy Johnson will hold a news conference in Dallas on Tuesday, and Miami Athletic Director Sam Jankovich says the university expects to lose 5 or 6 assistant coaches who will follow Johnson to Dallas. Jankovich plans a nationwide search to find a new head coach. LSU's Mike Archer, who was a former assistant at Miami, Washington State's Dennis Erickson, Don Nehlen of West Virginia, Duke's Steve Spurrier, and Jim Sweeney of Fresno State are being mentioned as possibilities to take over that head coaching job. Miami has now postponed spring practice.
Fallout's going to be from what happened Saturday in Dallas.
Yeah, a lot of people in Miami wondering what the fallout's going to be, too. Well, the change in ownership and coaches for the NFL's Dallas Cowboys will have as much or more effect on college football's Miami Hurricanes. With Jimmy Johnson out, the questions about who's in are coming fast and furious in South Florida. Johnson, doing his level best to avoid the media, says he won't talk publicly until this Tuesday. In the meantime, word from Miami that as many as 5 or 6 of Johnson's assistants could follow him to the NFL. The Hurricanes, for their part, plan on a national search for a successor. Among the early names mentioned, West Virginia head coach Don Nehlen, Washington State's highly regarded coach Dennis Erickson, a wizard at directing a passing offense, Duke coach and former Florida Gator star quarterback Steve Spurrier, though Spurrier says he's not really that interested, LSU coach Mike Archer, a hometown favorite. Archer's personable and talented, plus he was on Miami's staff during the 1983 National Championship season. And here's where the story begins to get a little bit sticky. A number of Miami players, including star quarterback Steve Walsh, who said he will turn pro and not stick around, that he and others don't want to play for anyone but Hurricanes offensive coordinator Gary Stevens, who's popular and productive. Stevens is responsible for bringing in and grooming many of Miami's current stars, but the university says Stevens is only one of many candidates.
I will not rush into this decision, and nor will I succumb to pressure, whether it comes from the media, boosters, or the young men involved in this program. The greatest injustice we could make to Gary at this particular time is to just name him as the head coach tonight or tomorrow and not have some comparisons to make as far as who the person should be in order to lead this program.
Well, the recruits from this year also believe Stevens should be the man tabbed to replace Johnson. Star quarterback recruit Brian Forte might not stay in school if Stevens is not chosen. Forte's father saying that if his son wanted to play for Mike Archer, he would have gone to LSU. In the meantime, Jankovic has postponed the start of spring practice for the Canes to allow a new coach to be hired. Well, as for the man let go in Dallas, Tom Landry told the Associated Press on Sunday that he isn't upset over being fired at the change of ownership and said he won't stay with the Cowboys because, quote, it wouldn't be fair to keep me hanging around, hanging over everybody's shoulder, unquote. And most surprisingly, Landry told the AP.
Lassie Landry granted his first interview after he was dismissed from the job that he held for 29 years. He told the AP, quote, it wouldn't be fair to keep me around, hanging over everybody's shoulder. Landry admits that it was an emotional experience, but says, quote, I am not upset over what happened. I've never been one to get that upset because I accept people as they are. Sure, the firing could have been better handled, but I won't get upset over it. He predicts that Tex Schramm, who is staying on as club president, his longtime friend and associate, will actually have it a lot tougher because it looks like he's going to have some, as Landry refers to, hobbles put on him, I would say so. Landry says he'll probably never coach again because it will be hard not being in Cowboys blue, but Tom was wrong on one item in this interview. He said, quote, people will forget me pretty quick. I don't think so. What a weekend. Chris Myers saw it all.
The sale of America's team created the biggest stir in Dallas since someone shot J.R. Arkansas oil man Jerry Jones sealed the deal Saturday to become the excited new owner of an NFL team.
If my voice cracks, this is Christmas to me.
It was more like a Halloween nightmare for the Cowboys' hatted head coach who was given the boot after 29 years. Tex Schramm, co-builder of the Dallas dynasty and still a minority owner, has been retained but will have some adjusting to do without Tom Landry.
It's very, very sad. It's tough when you break a relationship that we've had for 29 years.
When you get hired, you know you're going to get fired. I think you need to know that, and we've seen it with Tom. No one would have ever thought that a legend could get fired, but he did.
I really do take exception with firing Tom Landry. The facts are that I wouldn't have been an owner if Jim Johnson wasn't the head coach.
Miami's Jimmy Johnson, who's from Texas, visited the Cowboys training camp this summer in Thousand Oaks. He and Jones played football together at Arkansas 25 years ago.
He's known, back when we'd be laying in the bed in college together, that I've always had an interest in being involved in the football business. I was just too greedy to be a coach. So I couldn't stand it and wanted to go make money, but I've always admired anybody that goes in that profession.
The 46-year-old Jones will be a hands-on owner, attending every meeting and having the last vote. He's moving his business offices from Little Rock to the Cowboys complex, hoping to bring about a new attitude.
There is no substitute for winning. I know that's a cliche, but we must win. We will win. Win is the name of the game.
His persistence and timing paid off in his dream purchase. He took advantage of a sagging Texas economy which forced Bumbright to sell and a struggling team which was putting few fans in the stands and even fewer wins on the scoreboard. Jones first expressed an interest in buying the Cowboys when he attended a football game here back in September. In the year that the club was for sale, there were 75 inquiries, but only 5 serious ones. Laker owner Jerry Buss was one of the more serious, but from the outset, Bumbright said he wanted to deal with Jones.
This is a new generation of ownership, of coaches, and this must evolve.
The same fans who booed Landry, calling him a mere shadow of the coach he once was, were there to defend the dirty dealings. They were happy about the sale of their team, but not the dumping of their coach.
I think he's been treated badly and unfairly. I think he deserves a lot more than what he's getting.
If it's good for Dallas, that's great. But the way they did Tom Landry isn't right. And I hope Tom Landry goes to another team and can come back and beat the Dallas Cowboys.
The players who last spoke with Landry Friday admitted his laid-back style has become outdated in today's game. But 20 straight winning seasons and 5 trips to the Super Bowl shouldn't be taken so lightly.
you know, anyone who's ever played here, if it's been 1 year or guys that played 15 years, he was the only coach that they ever had, you know, at this level. And he's a great coach and he's a great person. And for it to happen the way it did, I don't think he deserved it. I don't think anybody deserves it, especially someone like Coach Landry.
We appreciated him spending the time that we did with him. And he's just one of those kind of coaches like Vince Lombardi. It's going to be hard to replace him.
The Cowboys will hold their mini camp here tomorrow as scheduled, but they won't have a head coach to run the workouts. Jimmy Johnson doesn't arrive until later in the week. The players are hoping that Tom Landry drops by sometime Monday just to tip his hat and say goodbye one last time. From Dallas, Texas, Chris Myers, ESPN.
Thank you, Chris. And now in Miami, who succeeds Jimmy Johnson, one of the plum jobs in college football? Offensive coordinator, longtime assistant of Miami, Gary Stevens, one of the front runners. The athletic director down at Miami, Sam Jankovic, says he will have a new coach by March the 6th. And one of the guys he's looking at is Mike Archer of LSU, used to play undergrad at Miami. Dennis Erickson of Washington State's name's been mentioned. Don Nehlen, West Virginia. Jim Sweeney of Fresno State. Jankovic says it will not be an assistant from college, will not be an assistant from the pros. It will be a Division I-A coach or a head coach from the pros. And one other note, and you can expect this, Jesse Armstead, one of Johnson's top recruits, the Texas Class 5A Player of the Year, one of the top 10 recruits in college football, going into college football from high school, says that he may give up a year's eligibility and transfer out of Miami if he's not comfortable with the new head coach, and you can expect those sort of things to happen. He may not be the only one.
I think he should have the right to go somewhere else and play right.
Bring your playbook. In pro football, it's an ominous expression. It means that a player is about to be fired. Waived, that's the nice way they put it in the paper. Part of the cold, impersonal business of pro football. Saturday, they told the coach, Tom Landry, to bring his playbook. There would be a new owner of the Dallas Cowboys, he was told. The new owner's name is Jerry Jones. He's an Arkansas oilman. Jerry wanted his friend and one-time teammate at Arkansas, University of Miami coach Jimmy Johnson, begin a new era in Big D. So the man in the hat was out after 29 years. His numbers are certainly awesome. 13 division titles, 5 NFC titles, 2 Super Bowl championships, an overall record of 250 wins, 162 losses, 6 ties. But most significantly, of course, the fact that Landry had been the only head coach the Cowboys ever had. Indeed, one of the big obstacles in the sale negotiations between the Cowboys owner, Bum Bright, and Jerry Jones' financial representatives was the, quote, Landry problem. It was this. If Jerry Jones was intent on bringing Jimmy Johnson in, and sources say he did make his intentions known as far back as last September, Jerry Jones wanted to be assured from Bum Bright that he, Jones, wouldn't be the bad guy, the Grim Reaper, the man who did fire one of the greatest coaches who ever lived. And so Bum Bright, that man, fired Tom Landry on Saturday before he made the deal. Of course, the public sentiment in Dallas was overwhelmingly pro-Landry. The new ownership, they said, was cold or ungrateful, disrespectful to a football legend. Indeed, even one of the Landry critics in the Dallas press, the Dallas Times-Herald's good writer, Skip Bayless, wrote a piece saying that it was time to celebrate and toast Tom Landry. We agree here. But before we get the violins out for St. Thomas, and believe me, Landry is something of a religious icon in Dallas, let's try to put a few things into proper perspective about loyalty in this business of pro football. First, wasn't it only 10 days ago that Landry fired or demoted 2 of his closest associates, Ernie Stautner and Paul Hackett? Then Landry shocked everybody in the organization by saying, I'd like to continue to coach this team well into the 90s if the ownership allows me to. Tom Landry is 64 and had been widely criticized by not staying fresh and contemporary in his craft. Landry's statement, in effect, forced the Cowboy management's hand. Sooner or later, they felt, they'd have to make a decision on Tom, and this was the best time. Now, before you suggest that Bum Bright, the man who filed for Chapter 11, who purchased the Cowboys 5 years ago for $86 million and who sold it reportedly to Jones for $140 million, Bum Bright told a gathering of reporters recently that in 5 years, he had spoken a total of 15 words to Tom Landry. So much for loyalty to his close friend and business associate. And one other thing about the Cowboy organization and loyalty. How loyal were they to Tony Dorsett, who found out he would be demoted after all those years from the starting lineup be demoted via the newspaper. How much compassion did Landry and his staff have for players like Mike Hegman or Mike Renfro or Tony Hill or scores of others? Tom Landry is no longer coaching the Dallas Cowboys. It is time to acknowledge his accomplishments and his very hard work, but please, let's leave loyalty out of this. Unfortunately, in pro football, loyalty has about as much place as a...
He made it public that he wanted to coach the Dallas Cowboys into the 90s and rebuild the team that went 3-13 last season. Landry was expecting to start the Cowboys minicamp today, but instead he was at the team's training facility as a spectator. Over the weekend, Arkansas oil man Jerry Jones purchased the team, dismissed Landry as head coach, and hired University of Miami head coach Jimmy Johnson to take Landry's place. So instead of running the Cowboys minicamp today, Landry was there to say his goodbyes. Chris Myers reports from Dallas.
You never know how many fouls you have, boy, when you try to clean them out.
It was Tom Landry's last day at the office. After nearly 3 decades of running America's team, the 64-year-old head coach has joined the ranks of America's unemployed.
I don't think anybody should think about being fired. This situation was very unusual. I've never seen, an owner come in, with his best friend as a coach before and said, I'm doing this, and if I do it, I'm going to do this. So there wasn't much that I could do about that at all.
Early Monday morning, Landry showed up unannounced at the team's minicamp workout to encourage his former players and say goodbye.